This is James Lupton for Round 8 Boxing. Delighted to be joined with Phumelele Cafu. How are you, sir?
I'm good in Utah.
I'm very good, thank you. Thanks for joining me again. Um, let's talk a little bit about the fight coming up. Bam Rodriguez, you don't seem to do it the easy way. Last time out, you won the title in Japan in the backyard of Tanaka, and now you're defending it in Texas, going away again against one of the pound for pound fighters in today's generation. Your mentality is phenomenal. Why did you want to fight Bam Rodriguez straight away in your first title defense, who is the probably the best opponent out there for yourself, and obviously unify those titles?
Okay, thank you for having me, sir. The thing is, about me is, I want to go down as one of the greatest boxers. So I'm pushing. Whenever people look at my resume, they be like, at least this guy, for the best guys while they were still in their prime. So I believe Ben Rodriguez is the king of the divisions. So me beating him will make me the king. And in boxing, I think what people don't understand is in boxing there's no such thing as easy fights. So you know what they say: the higher the risk, the higher the reward. I beat Ben Rodriguez. It gets me straight into the South African Hall of Fame. So why not give it a try? And I believe I could be nobody's unbeatable in boxing. And on the 19th of July, I'm going to prove it to everyone that nobody's unbeatable.
Absolutely. And I mentioned there about your mentality and your mindset, and you said yourself, you want to beat the best, become the best. You beat the king of the division, you are then the king of the division. How much excitement and motivation do you have for this fight, as if you needed any more motivation?
I'm very excited about this fight. Very excited. These are one of the fights that it's very cold here in South Africa. Sometimes I don't feel like training because I don't feel like training because of the cold. I'll be like, there's no need for me to wake up for a run. But I have to wake up because I know the guy that I'm fighting is very dangerous, and I know he's gonna bring his A game because he also wanna be two-time unified world champion, and he knows what's at stake. So I feel like he's not gonna like overlook me or something like that. So I gotta make sure I put in 100% or 110% just to make sure I'm ready for the 19th of July.
What has life been like for you since becoming a world champion?
I won't lie, there was some changes. People are starting to recognize me a bit more now. Too many kids now feel like I'm their role models, and man, the respect I get from home also. I feel like it really made a positive impact in my life. So I feel like that's what actually happened currently.
Absolutely. It certainly sounds like it's a lot deeper than, benefiting you financially. Obviously, I'm sure the financial side of it has certainly helped you, but like you say, you're now a role model. Do you feel more pressure being a role model?
Not really. The pressure that I put is I always put a pressure on myself, even going into this fight, losing to Ben Rodriguez won't be a disgrace or something like that. But to me, I don't want to lose. I'm going there to win. So to me, I'm putting a lot of pressure. So it will be a disappointment, not to people, but to myself, going there, not performing the way I expect myself to perform and not performing the way I want myself to perform. So I put a lot of pressure on myself, not because of the people, right? Because I want to be great, man. And I feel like being great takes a lot, and I'm ready for it. So I gotta make sure I put in a work, make sure I show up there 100%. So that's the pressure that I put on myself, not because of anyone or everyone, but because of me, because I want to be great.
Now, I've spoken to your manager previously, and he said with yourself and a lot of his fighters, you've got to fight away from home. This fight's in Texas, your last fight was in Japan, and that's probably down to finances more than anything because the money available in South Africa isn't huge. But if you go to America or Japan, etc., you're going to gain a lot more finances that way. For you, the Bam Rodriguez fight, was this the biggest financial gain in terms of the fights available to you now?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can't lie, for sure. They really paid me good money. So, like I said, none of that matters. What matters is about legacy. Because if I'm chasing money, let's just say maybe I had in 2 or 3 years time, I'll have 20 million in my bank. Will I have the same hunger that I have? No. But if I'm chasing legacy, I beat Ben Rodriguez. I become a unified world champion. I chase undisputed. I become undisputed. Move up to the upper division. I wanna be two-division world champion. Be unified in the bantam. Probably be undisputed in the bantamweight. Then I can move up. I end up doing that in all divisions. Now that's legacy. It doesn't matter how many belts you have. You're still gonna want more because there's always better guys above you and all. So I can't be chasing money, but the money is good. But I'm not going there for money. Like I said, I'm going there for legacy.
I mentioned earlier about your mentality and your mindset, and just want to touch on that there. Obviously, you're now making more money than you've ever seen in your life. You grew up, with no money. You grew up on the streets, life of crime, things like that, and now you've got a much better life. You are now financially stable. Um, how how easy or how hard is it to still chase the legacy when you've got essentially what you've never had before in terms of money?
To me, I feel like it's easy, because there's still things that I still wanna do, like I've been saying, I've been wanna buy my mama a house. So after those fights, I'm buying a house. So I feel like that's financial freedom that I get from all of this, doing whatever I want, being my own boss, but still respecting the people around me. But at the end of the day, there's still things that I want to do. For example, in my hood, I want to show up, do something great for my hood, so that even the people around there, because most of us, like growing up, our role models were gangsters. So I want to give them hope, give them something to think about that there are also like good role models out there. And, you know, um, I'm one of them. So parents should be able to let their kids, if their kids say, I want to be a boxer one day, they'll be like, oh, okay, you can be a boxer one day. Not that boxing will never take care of you. Why would you want to be a boxer and all of that? So I feel like mom should also let their kids play sports so that they can take sports as their career, because what I understood as growing up, the people that we loved and were our role model with these gangsters. As I grew up, I learned to understand that people don't really love them; they just fear them. So I want to be loved, not feared. So whenever people show up, they'll see that I tried to make a difference in my hood, and I did make a positive impact. So that's the goal.
Fantastic. I mentioned earlier, nobody is unbeatable. You believe you can beat Bam Rodriguez. What weaknesses have you seen in Bam that you feel you can exploit?
Sorry, I can't really dwell on that because that will be me like giving up our game plan. Let me just talk about what is good at. Bam is a high guard. I feel like it's one of the few boxers that uses his feet and head to feint, and whenever he's moving, he's always moving with his guys up. But like any other boxer, he does make mistakes, and he's got fast hands, fast feet. He's very accurate. So. Yeah, I feel like that's what he's good at. So yeah.
Do you think, obviously, you've studied Bam and you watch Bam probably as a fan as well? You mentioned about his style there. Do you feel with your style and Bam's style that would gel well and provide or produce a fight for the fans?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I can't lie. I used to watch him. I think he was still a flyweight back then. His brother was in my division. So I thought I'm gonna fight his brother, not him. I used to watch them both. And I always felt like Bam is better than his brother. So now that I'm able to fight him, I feel like it's gonna really be a good fight because I'm not a like I am a counter puncher, but I'm not a boxer that runs around the ring. So if you're looking for me, you won't have to look too hard to find me. I'll always be there in front of you, ready to create. So I'm one of those boxers. I always bring the smoke. I'm not a. I know in boxing, firstly, like a lot of people pay money to watch us. So you can't expect people to watch. Tom and Jerry, something like that. You gotta make sure they paid for a fight, so you gotta make sure you give them what they pay for. So I always make sure that I stand and fight because I've trained very hard throughout training camp. So I didn't train for myself to run full 12 rounds. I trained for myself to fight full 12 rounds. So I'm going there to fight, and it's gonna be a good fight. And I know him is a pressure fighter. He'll come forward, bring the smoke, and I'll do the same. So yeah.
For you, I mentioned earlier you have to sort of go away from home and fight in the opposition's backyard to essentially maximize your earnings and get these big fights. But for you, would it be nice to fight back home?
Yeah, for sure. Could have been nice if South Africa would afford those fights. Fighting back home. Your fans, your family, be there cheering for you. That would be a really amazing feeling. But I know that South Africa can't afford this type of fights, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Sometimes you gotta be uncomfortable. You gotta do what scares you. Go into the backyard of the box and dethrone them. So that's the goal. I mean, I've done it once, I'm gonna do it twice. So yeah.
Now, in terms of after the BAM fight, I know you're not looking past that, but you unify that division, you pick up the WBC belt as well as your WBO. After that, you mentioned earlier about becoming undisputed. That is your ultimate goal. So
Yeah.
you look at potentially the WBA champion, the IBF champion, Fernando Martinez. But there's also another fighter who holds the IBO World Championship at the moment, who is also a South African, and Ricardo Malajika. How big would that fight be for your country?
That would be a good fight. I won't lie, a good fight. Malazika is a very good boxer, but it talks a lot, man. I don't like how he talks because I think those one time he mentioned something about being currently the best pound for pound boxer in South Africa. I mean, I was like, damn, man, you only like have an IBO. You only been an IBO world champion. I've got about five titles under my name. So, and I'm the current world champion, and I've beaten four division world champion. And also, I feel like that's also disrespect to current boxers. For example, we have also Tulani Mbenge. Tulani Mbenge is also a two-time IBO world champion, and we both he won these titles twice outside of the country. We also have Stephen Nunjinga, who's a two-time world champion. We also have Kevin Lerina, who's the current WBC world champion. So that's kind of disrespect to those type of boxers, because I feel like I'm not taking anything away from him. He's a good boxer, but I feel like him saying he's the best pound for pound, I feel like that's kind of disrespect to all of the boxers. He could have, if he wants the song, could have said he's better than me, and not to mention, those type of boxers. Not to mention those type of boxers, something like that. Him saying that is the best, that's kind of like disrespectful. That's kind of like disrespectful, and I won't lie, man. I'd love that fight to happen one day. But I doubt, for example, I doubt if when I win this fight, I'll doubt they'll be able to afford me also. So, but since he talks a lot, I really love to fight him one day and prove that I'm better than him.
And just finally, is there a message for the fans or for Bam Rodriguez going forward?
For my fans all over around the world, the message that I could give them is that I promise you guys on the 19th, I'm gonna pull up in good form and I'll become a unified world champion. And to PM Rodriguez, please, bro, hope you pull up 100% because I want to put the best version out of you that day. So, please pull up in 100% and just know I'm coming back to cinch your titles.
Perfect. Family, thank you. I want to thank you again for your time. Always a pleasure speaking to you. Best of luck for fight night.
Thank you too, sir, for having me. And also, thanks to my manager, Colin Nomakanjani, which is not that management, and thanks to my promoter, Larry Winston. Thanks to Riyaz Biat, which is one of my sponsors, Broki, and thanks to part of my sponsors. So, thank you so much for having me, sir.
Perfect. Thank you.